So I'm here today with Michele Lee Bernstein. Is that how you pronounce her name? Bernstein,
Yes.
who is our featured designer for the Brioche, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, box for our Skill Builder Yarn Club. So we're gonna chat a little bit about you and your design process and all of kinds of things. So maybe if you want to start by introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Michelle Lee Bernstein. I'm based in Portland, Oregon, in the United States, and my job is designing and teaching knitting, which I think is the best job in the world. Um, I have some favorite techniques, and one of them is brioche, and the other one right now is assigned pooling. Those are my two big loves right now. And I've been knitting for a long time, since I was 14, and my favorite aunt taught me to knit. And I am so thrilled to be doing the brioche box with you because I love teaching brioche and sharing that love.
That's great. We're so happy to have you. It's fun that you learned from a family member, so you had somebody to guide you along in the first stages of your knitting. Um, do you want to tell us how you started getting into designing? I took a sneak peek at your old Ravelry listings, and I saw that there's some that go way back to 19 mid 1990s that were for like a listserv or something like that. And then
Yes.
it looks like you kind of things took off about a decade later. So maybe you can tell us how that evolution and that journey for you.
So I've never been able to really just do things the way I'm told to do things. It's like, well, what if I did this or what if I did that? So in high school, when I was sewing my own clothes, I would say, oh, I like the bodice of this, but I really like the skirt, the bottom part of this. So I'm just going to mash these up and put them together. And so you change a little this and you change a little that. And then you start getting the ideas of, oh, well, what if I just, start over and do a thing? So the things that you saw in the mid 90s, it's probably like 96 maybe from the knit list. And that was a list serve out of a server at the University of Minnesota, I think. And we would make patterns for the gift list that happened around the holidays. And I remember doing a watermelon hat.
Yes, I remember that
And it
was
was a
the yeah.
very long time ago. But, I didn't really have a way to sell patterns
Hmm.
until Ravelry happened. And then it was, oh, now I have a way I can list things because I was trying to do it on my Comcast account and it was very cumbersome trying to make a web page. And then there was no way to actually sell things, but Ravelry made it so that we could post things and have a way to be paid. And that changed the whole thing for me. So that's when I really started designing.
Hmm.
I started going to a local yarn shop. They were new and the owners were friends of somebody that I knew. And they asked me if I wanted to teach, and that's how I started teaching. I have designed a lot of things for teaching. It's like, oh, I want to teach how to do this. I want to teach how to do brioche increases and decreases or slip stitch knitting. So I would design a thing because I like using my own patterns. I don't want to use someone else's pattern to teach because everybody describes things in their own words. It might as well be something that I'm describing with my words if I'm going to be teaching with them.
For sure, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and then wait, you also can construct the pattern so that it builds the skills in the order that you want to teach them as well. Yeah,
Yes, I'm a very linear teacher. I do classes and we start all together. It's like there might be a cast on to do, so we're all ready to start. And then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. And then you can go at your own pace. That's fine.
mm-hmm.
But I want everybody to hear the concepts in a certain order. And so I've taught a lot of brioche with patterns that I've made to do that.
Nice. And considering that you have been around in the knitting community for the sort of since the dawn of Ravelry, which is around the same time, honestly, that we were getting started, and we started our business in 2007 as well. So it was definitely a part time for a lot of years, but it's grown since then. But yeah, I'm interested in like what changes you've seen in the knitting community and how things work and how that's impacted you as an independent designer. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I feel like there's just more. And there's some in-person shows and then they got smaller, but now there's big in-person shows. And I just taught at Vogue Knitting Live in New York last weekend. Super fun. Big show. I'm teaching at another show, Red Alder Fiber Arts Retreat next weekend, and that's a smaller show. And I love them for different reasons, but I just love that I can teach at different kinds of shows.
Yeah. And it seems like the thing that is interesting from my perspective is that in 2007, Ravelry was really like where people went for knitting on the internet. And it's still such a huge resource, but I feel like there's all kinds of other places to connect and ways to reach people and stuff that have evolved since then that it's sometimes hard to know where to put your energy, honestly. But yeah.
Yes. And I have a blog that I've had, I think it's like 17 or 18 years now. And what I love about that is that it's long form and I can say whatever I want. And if people want to read it, they come to read it. You can subscribe to it. You can subscribe to my newsletter, but I'm in control of that. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like Instagram got really big with the knitting community and then they changed the algorithm. So I don't know if you get to see my stuff at all, but the
So
stuff
hard.
that I control, I mean, I'm not trying to be a control freak or anything, but I want to put things out there and I want people to be able to find them.
Yes, for sure. That makes so much sense. We have a blog on our website that we started quite a while ago, and we kind of fell off putting much on it because it's so much work to keep up with Instagram and all of those other things. And then lately we've been thinking maybe that's where we need to go back to because yeah, it's so hard to know what's even going to be seen or what's worth putting out there on some of the social media.
You know what I love
Um,
about the blog too is that it's searchable.
yes.
So if I try to find something that I saw on Instagram last week, it is really hard. There's probably a better way to do it, but I can't do it. But
Yeah.
my blog, you want to know, oh, do you have a brioche thing that does this? Or can you tell me about Hawaii? Where should I go if I go to Hawaii? Because I put my travel on there. I put
Oh,
my,
nice.
you know, is there a dessert that I want to make? Sure, it's all on the blog, and you could just put in dessert or recipes or
Yeah.
knitting or
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think there's definitely coming to be some nostalgia for blogs. I've seen a lot. I'm not sure how much people are really gravitating back to them, but I think
Yeah, I miss the
yeah,
days where you would get like 20 comments on a post, and now it's like you
yeah,
get one, two,
yeah.
and I know that people are reading it because they'll ask me about it later, but
Hmm.
it's like what we don't have that back and forth anymore. And
There's not
you
as
can't
much
really do
energy.
that on Instagram either. It's not really built for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I want to go back to the actual knitting techniques and ask you. I know you said brioche is one of your favorite techniques. What made you fall in love with that technique? What do you love about it?
I think part of it is how squishy it is, and part of it is it's just another muscle memory thing. So once you get the muscle memory of it down, it you can just do it in your sleep or almost
Hmm.
sleep. But it also makes you feel like you're super smart because it's like, ooh, everybody's afraid of this. This is not hard. And I, when I write patterns, I always have tutorials in them so people can figure out how to do things because words are a lot. And you could read those instructions, but it's so much easier if you see pictures. And
Hmm.
then if there are moving pictures, that's even better.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
I think
To
also, with the increases and decreases, the forms are very organic looking. A lot of things look leafy, and I love nature. I love designing things with a nature theme or a nighttime sky theme, stars, whatever. So it just fits my vibe.
that makes a lot of sense. Um, and do you have a favorite part of the design process in terms of like where you get inspiration from, or whether do you chart your designs, or what do you enjoy as you're working on a new idea?
I think the part of designing for me is trying to take different pieces of it and put things together that's going to be pleasing. And sometimes you have to start over and over and over. It's like, oh, I did this. Oh, no, it didn't work. Rip it,
Yeah,
rip it, rip it, rip it.
yeah.
Frog, frog. Um, but for an example, right now I'm working on a shawl and I've done one kind of in this shape before. So it's just an asymmetric triangle,
Hmm.
but I want a pretty edging
Hmm.
and I want some assigned pooling to go on inside the body of it. And some stitches you can do in the round, but they don't, or you can do flat, but they don't really, let me start that one over. They only work if you do them flat, but
Right.
only from the
Yeah.
front. Or you could do them in the round, but you can't start this particular motif, which I love. And actually, it's the one I'm wearing,
Okay.
but I'm using it on something else. You can't do it flat from the back. And so, oh, how can I make that work? What else can I put with it? And just putting all these little pieces together that's going to be pretty, but it's also going to be doable and I like my instructions to be somewhat streamlined, so it's going to be a relaxing knit once you get it set up, because I
Hmm.
don't like to have to keep looking at instructions. I just want to knit, and do
Yeah,
the thing
for
and
sure.
just not have to be tied to a chart.
For sure. I love those kind of patterns too, where there's something interesting about it. Keep you, it's not just plain stockinette, but once you get the logic of it, you can just keep going. You don't have to look back at the pattern every row to know where you're going next. Yeah.
Oh, you are going to like our box.
Okay. Um, you talked about frogging recently. I'd wanted to bring up the Portland frog hat. Can you tell me about the Portland frog hat?
You mean this?
Yes. And yeah, how activism comes into your life as a designer and a blogger and everything like that.
So it's funny, for a long, long time, for most of my business life, I have tried not to ever talk about anything that might be controversial because, I'm not trying to offend anybody over here, anybody over here. But when the leader of this country decided to start saying things that were not true, that we were rioting here in Portland and they were going to send in federalized troops to take care of us, make us obey, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was using footage from 2020 during the riots. Well, riots. I don't know that I would call them riots either, but during the
The
unrest,
protests, yeah.
yes, the
Yeah.
protests when George Floyd was killed,
Hmm.
and saying that that was current and that was what was going on, and using that as a basis for we're going to send people in. I didn't like it. So I went down with some friends because someone at my guild said, I'm going down to knit in front of the ice facility to show that we are not rioting. Everything is calm. I would like people to join me. So I went down and joined, and we just had a nice time knitting. And there were some artists who were also there, and they were painting. They were Artifa. That was kind of cute. And, I went there for a couple weeks in a row. The second week I went, I decided I wanted to knit a frog hat because part of the protest is Operation Inflation, which are people in inflatable costumes also not doing anything except for peaceful protest.
Hmm.
And there were these frogs, and they were very, very noticeable and notable. One guy, poor guy, had tear gas sprayed into his air valve, which was terrible.
That's
And
awful, yeah.
so I thought, well, I want to make a frog hat. And I did. And it's a free pattern on my website because it's a lot like the pussy hats from
Yeah.
2016, I guess, 2017. So same kind of idea, but it's green. It has eyes. It looks like a frog. It looks ridiculous. It's called, we call it tactical frivolity. We're
Hmm.
looking to show you how ridiculous things are right now. We're all about peaceful protest.
Yeah.
So that's how I fell into that. It wasn't something that I had planned on doing, but
Hmm.
I also couldn't not say something
For sure.
after a while.
Yeah.
And so this is who I am.
Yeah.
And you don't have to follow me if you don't want to, but I love my frog hats.
Yeah, they're actually super cute, but they also make a very important point, and they're like sending a message. Yeah.
Yes, and they're very noticeable. They're just make it bright green.
Yeah.
The red melt the ice hat is really big
Hmm.
right now, and they have
Yeah.
raised so much money, and they are using that money for relief for people who are affected by what's going on in Minneapolis,
Hmm.
Minnesota. So I think that's wonderful too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's been really like heartening to watch how many people have been inspired to get involved by that. That yarn shop just saying, "I'm putting this out there. Let's see what we can do." You know.
And the last time I checked, it was the one I saw for sure was $250,000, and now I think it's $400,000, but I'm
Oh
not sure.
wow.
Don't quote me
Yeah.
on the second number.
Yeah.
$5 at a time. That
Yeah.
pattern is $5, and people are so moved to actually do something. I bought the pattern. I don't know that I have time to knit it, but I
Yeah.
might make a little mini one to hang on my bag because I
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. Um, I think we are gonna wrap up soon. I don't want to keep you too long, but can you tell us if you have a favorite pattern of yours that you want to share, or ideas if people are going to do the introductory brioche pattern in the box with us, but where they might want to go to after that once they're like confident in their basic brioche skills.
So a couple of ideas. One is this shawl behind me, which looks complicated, but it's not. So there are increases and decreases in your brioche box, and you'll know how to do them. Can I talk about the weight of yarn? Is
Sure.
that
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
So it's worsted weight yarn because I love teaching with worsted weight because you can see the stitches, you can feel the stitches. This is fingering weight, and it's called Seagull Flight. It is knit flat, so you have to learn a bit about knitting flat, but it's all explained. And it's the same increases and decreases, and they only happen every 4 rows. So you're not doing them all the time. The rest of it is just brioche rib. And it is from my book, Brioche Knit Love, which is a teaching book. So it starts at the beginning too, and you can learn
Yeah. So you can go
thing
step
after
by
thing.
like the patterns build on each other step by step through
Yes,
the book.
yes, they
Yeah.
do. And um I am planning to release this pattern separately. I've only released 2 patterns from the book so far because life got busy and it just didn't happen. So I that one will be available by itself, but if you're going to make more than 3 patterns out of the book, you might as well buy the book
Yeah.
because it would cost you less. The other idea that I think would be really fun is this is brioche and it's fingering weight also, but it adds assigned pooling. But there's really nothing here. It's knit in the round. There is one new decrease up the front that makes that line up the front, so it looks like a triangular shawl. Um, and then assigned pooling, so it's just regular old brioche rib like you are learning to do with your box,
Hmm.
and then you add assigned pooling. So you will need an assigned pooling yarn, but as I said, that is my other love right now.
Yes. And for anyone who hasn't come across a sign pooling yet or doesn't know what it is, can you give a short description of what that means?
Yes. So here is your dice game. And a dice game is usually about 2 feet, right? Or
Yeah, a yard and a half in
thank you.
circumference. So yeah, yeah,
And I don't know if I can't do meters, so
yeah. That's fine.
um,
We can translate.
so about a quarter of it at the end is a different color. It's a pop color, and you're just knitting along, doing whatever you're doing. You could be knitting stockinette, or you could be knitting garter, or you could be knitting brioche rib. And then when that color comes along, you make a special stitch, and it just makes it pop. So these look like little flowers,
Mhm.
and I have other little flowers, little stars, little fans, lots of fun stitches, and I think it's just nice because you don't have to be picky about your gauge. There's something called um, applied pooling. Am I doing the right one?
Land pooling, where
Plan
where
pooling.
you
Thank
where
you.
you line
Yes.
up the so you get
Yes.
a plaid pattern or stripes or something like
Yes, you could
that
get
from
argyles. That one
yeah
has to be knit
yeah
flat, but your gauge has to be spot on all the time. So you've got the same number of stitches in
yeah
that die repeat. My hands, I feel like they're different every time I pick up my needles. So
okay.
I design a lot of accessories, gauge not critical, my 3 favorite words. I have a 2 skein attention span. This is how I roll.
And with the assigned pooling, it's as an element of randomness, right? So no two
Yes.
projects are going to be exactly the same, but you also you don't have to make those decisions because you're following the yarn, right?
Yes, unless the yarn is not doing exactly what you want. Because sometimes if you're changing the size, you're increasing
Mm-hmm.
or decreasing, for a little while they might all stack up on top of each other. And some people feel you should follow the yarn, but I think you're the boss of your knitting. And if it doesn't fit where you want it, you can either ignore it and just knit through it and have a little line of color, or you could make that motif somewhere else in the background color just to move where that color is going to
Mm-hmm.
show up. So I'm the boss and I'm in charge of when things happen.
That makes sense. Okay, last thing I'm going to ask is where people can find your work. If they're interested in reading your blog or knitting your patterns or buying the book, where should they look for you?
So I am PDX Knitterati, and I think that'll be on your pattern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you
Yep.
could, so pdxknitterati.com is my website. It's my blog, and you can go to the links page and find links for me on everything on Ravelry and Facebook and Instagram and Blue Sky and Threads and my newsletter, which only comes out once or twice a month. So I promise I will not spam you because I don't have that much energy. But every time I put out a new pattern, Newsletter subscribers get 25% off. And I tell you what I'm working on and where I'm teaching. And sometimes there's tips and tricks on how to do things. And that is probably the best way to follow me through my newsletter. And there's a link on my blog.
Great. And PDX, that's the airport code for Portland.
Oh,
That's where,
yes.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes. When I started my blog way back, I wanted it to be knitterati.com because I thought it sounded cool. Someone else already thought it was cool and already had the domain name. So I put PDX on the front of it, which is the Portland, Oregon airport code because that's where I am.
Nice.
And I've been PDX Knitterati ever since.
Nice.
Can't rebrand, it'd be too hard.
For sure. Well, we will make sure to put lots of links when we put up the video if people want to follow you and find some of your patterns to knit.
Okay.
Right. Thank
Well,
you so
thank you so
much.
much for chatting with me because I'm so excited to see this box come out.
Yes, me too. We're working on dyeing up the yarn now, so it will be shipped out at the end of the month.
Okay.
All right. Have a good afternoon, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.
Okay, thank you.